A federal court filing from special counsel John Durham claims that Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign paid a tech company to mine data from servers at the White House and Trump Tower. Here's what White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre had to say when questioned about that bombshell claim.
Does the president have any concerns about a candidate for president using computer experts to infiltrate computer systems of competing candidates, or even the president-elect to use for the goal of creating a narrative? Is that something that...
That's something I can't speak to from this podium, so I refer you to the Department of Justice.
Is what was described in that report, monitoring internet traffic, is that spying?
Again, I can't speak to that report. I refer you to the Department of Justice.
Since then, ex-DNI John Ratcliffe has said to expect more indictments in Durham's Russiagate probe. Joining me now is the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. Tom, thanks for being with us.
Hey, good to be with you, Buck.
So, there's so much Russiagate information, Russia collusion, Durham probe, Mueller probe, all this stuff. It is a long and complicated saga, to be sure. Can you just, in layman's terms, because I know you're really on this, following it very closely, but tell us what's new here? Why are we talking about this again?
Well, I mean, when you go back, the concern was during the 2016 campaign when Trump was running for the presidency, you had the Obama administration, quote, spying on candidate Trump using specious reasons that he was involved with the Russians. Now and part of the reason they were doing that was because Hillary was putting material before them suggesting that was material that was obviously false, the dossier suggesting there was something there. Now, on top of that, we've learned through Durham that Hillary Clinton, in addition to, quote, writing, doing some creative writing projects concerning Mr. Trump in Russia, actually had some folks associated with the campaign who were also, quote, spying on Trump. They were looking at his computer traffic, and they were drawing fake conclusions, according to Durham, and then trying to shop that to the FBI, lying about why they were visiting the FBI initially in terms of shopping it. Now we learn from Durham that it continued after he was elected president and became president, and Durham suggests that they may have been watching his computer networks in the executive office of the president, in addition to at his home and in Trump Tower, and they shop that to the CIA. And of course, the CIA, I'm not aware the CIA is doing anything about that criminal invasion of President Trump's privacy. So that's where we are. I mean, we've got this operation going on that used these computer tech people who evidently had government contracts that gave them unique access to this type of information. And they leveraged that access, in my view, according, if Durham's to be believed, outrageously illegally, if I could put those two words together, to spy on Trump and his family.
Here's some of the filing, I want to have you react to it, Tom. The government's evidence at trial, this comes directly from the court filing, will establish that among the internet data Tech Executive One and his associates exploited was domain name system internet traffic pertaining to a particular healthcare provider, Trump Tower, Donald Trump's Central Park West apartment building, and the executive office of the President of the United States. So first of all, is this all legal? I mean, like you look at this, you say, hold on, how could they get that information? Or is that public domain? Are they hacking? What's going on just with the actual specifics in that allegation?
I don't know how it could possibly be legal. I'm no lawyer, I'm no prosecutor, but we've been around the block and we understand contracting law and what you're allowed to do for an employer, for instance, with the employer's resources. And here you have access being given to computer information about the networks of the President of the United States and Trump personally, and that was leveraged not for the purposes of the contract, evidently, but for political spying. It's really illegal in a way that dramatically, in my view, escalates the liability for the campaign that allegedly was behind it, namely Hillary Clinton. I mean, that brings this potential list of crimes. There's a whole new list of crimes that it raises as it relates to the campaign and those who may have known about this.
President Trump put out this statement in response to, well, the corrupt political press. He wrote, "Can you imagine that what should be the biggest story of our time, bigger than Watergate, is getting absolutely zero mention? The New York Times, Washington Post, ABC fake news, NBC fake news, CBS, et cetera, ratings dead CNN. This in itself is a scandal. It shows how totally corrupt and shameless the media is." Yeah, I mean, it's very clear there's a partisan bent to who will even talk about. I mean, the Durham probe is very real. It's a special counsel. The Mueller probe was treated day in and day out like it had the seriousness of the bombing of Pearl Harbor or something. And yet here we are, the Durham probe, they're like, meh, whatever.
Yeah, filings from special counsel Mueller were treated as something had come down, with Moses. And we needed to pay attention. Here we have the U.S. government through Durham making these allegations that you plainly lay out. And President Trump is wrong. What they're doing is they're actually, the media is covering it now, the legacy media. They're covering it by attacking the right-wing media for covering it. That's their analysis here. That, we're not going to report what's in Durham's report other than to minimize it and attack those lunatic conservatives for actually raising issues about spying on the president.
Over at MSNBC, there is a former conservative host who had this to say. Really, just the most important thing is, of course, Hillary has nothing to do with this. Watch.
But they said, quote, paid for. That's something else. People are desperately trying to connect Hillary Clinton with this lawyer, giving him money, saying, go spy on Donald Trump. That never happened.
What do you say to that? I mean, it was done in her name. It was done on her behalf.
I mean, they paid for it. They paid for the dossier and they paid for this operation. And that's what Durham's alleging. And to say otherwise, I don't know if he's misinformed or lying or a little bit of both. But Hillary Clinton's up to her neck on this. And the other issue is, it seems to me, with Hillary Clinton, is that she's been questioned by Durham about what she knew. I mean, that's going to be cleared up, right? In theory, what did the documents show? And what does the testimony show? And has Hillary Clinton been questioned, or will she?
Tom, thanks for being with us. Always good to see you.
You're welcome. Thank you.